Where's the race at?
Waco. And that's where I did 51 miles an hour run last year. And I felt really good and strong in the hour run, which was kind of, okay, a little bit of confidence build of, I didn't get done with the bike and do I die? Of course, then I got thinking about it.
Disconnect from audio, right?
Yes. Because it's 56 miles an hour. But the run was only 18.
Okay.
So I still have to, so there's still that. But yet.
You'll get it.
Okay.
First goal is finish. Like be raced. Is finish. Yeah. Second goal is either a time-based one or a just finish the run.
I think I'm okay, Brandon, or Ann.
I think you're good, Danny. I'll come over there and help you.
Well, as long as I ain't causing trouble.
We're good.
We're good.
It's mostly kind of rolling with the running course, except for they haven't some running that or in that part that is of course a mile elevation, so it's not
Do you have the, I forgot to print off the charter one, do you have that?
Yeah. And do you put paper copies of stuff in my box? Oh my god.
The paper copies of what? No, you never gave me that.
The-
Yeah, I did. Did you not have that? Okay. I can purchase it.
You got the right shirt on?
Is that August? How are we doing?
Okay.
Good, how are you doing?
Hey Kevin, how are you?
I thought you'd be standing there remotely and.
I know. All coming
It's volleyball.
for you for this.
I saw Chin on the way in, I figured it was for his appointment.
Oh, is he here? Oh, cool.
How you doing?
Good to see you.
Good to see you, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. We're good. No, I don't. Mayor, just see if anybody has any questions. Yeah. I don't know where he is. Do you know where Mike is?
I don't, huh?
Winfield. Great, or Mike?
Uh-huh.
He's sometimes
Huh?
like left where he goes.
Win, oh, is it Winfield?
Yeah.
The bluegrass thing?
Yeah, let me see this, 'cause Patrick.
Drums. He played in the Kagan band. His wife did too. So he kind of. He's got a legit band.
This is the charter ordinance and
All right.
resolution
He's a
for
man of
the
many talents.
concert tour.
All right.
Just like baseball guys.
I'm used to this besides municipal law. I already do that.
Just one.
Kevin gonna be here tonight?
He's online.
Oh,
I saw that.
I don't have it up, hold on.
Yeah, just kind of that point is
I don't read that.
I mean,
Kind of. That part's pretty easy, really.
Right.
But yeah, we
you
need
listen to radio much?
A little bit, yeah.
legal description parts.
Well, wasn't the Fox 101.1 and 101.5, and now it's 106.5?
They changed, so the Chiefs changed their broadcast station.
Oh,
That's what it
when
is.
did they do that?
Last year, maybe this year might be the first year, I can't remember. It used to be that, and it's, what's really funny is the station they're on now is a country station.
we
It used
have-
to be a jazz station, like in the 90s, I remember that.
Right.
Well, I got really confused the other day on the last game, and I kept tuning in, and I said, well, they're not there.
Yeah.
And I said, what's going on?
Yeah, no, they changed their station.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
gonna
that
turn
explains
on.
that.
Alrighty.
I'm gonna
Thanks,
turn on
Kevin.
my-
Okay, now I can hear.
Oh, sorry, I just turned on the mic, just so we get started.
Okay.
That.
I saw everybody talking, I'm like, what is
No, Kevin. Yeah, no, we just turned it on. We usually turn it on, 5 or 6 minutes before.
7-month-old brain.
Yeah, I was wondering what was going on when I saw everybody.
I'm gonna turn down the sound just a little bit. It's pretty good in here.
No, no, it's nice and loud there. Is Councilman Ritter, is he gonna be remote, or is this the meeting he was gonna be gone?
He is gonna be a remote. That's the last thing I heard.
Yeah, I got these.
Mike texted me about 5:45.
Okay.
So I got them, I'm okay, cool.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Oh, hi, Chuck. How you doing, Preston? Good. How are you? Not bad.
All right, he's in.
Hey, how's it going?
Playing Mike too?
Yeah,
Again?
playing Mike. Just lots of hats. John Williams, hopefully don't screw it up too bad.
I have a specific request for you.
Yes, sir.
Comes from Jason Weiss.
Yeah.
Do you still have a photo of you guys, of you and his dad, when you guys got the new ambulance?
Yeah, I think we took a whole bunch of those pictures down at the Miller Park
I forgot to
with when we switched from the Pontiac Memphian to the Ford Econoline van. Yeah.
Because he was wanting to know
Yeah, yeah,
to either get like
we should get it, but
a cell phone photo of that picture or like a copy of that picture, just because he wants, I mean, he knows, he remembers that picture.
Yeah, and who was wanting this?
His son.
Oh, his son.
Yeah,
Oh,
Jack.
oh, yeah.
Jack.
Let me, I will get in touch with you and I will get them. I think I have a book of the ambulance stuff and I'll get them. And if I get these pictures, I'll get my wife to duplicate them and then we'll put them so you can get them and get them to me.
Yeah. Talked about that some of days, and I was like, oh,
Oh, yeah, sure. Anything you want, yes, sir. Yeah, we'll get those. I have those, and some of them are real funny because one of the ones when they took a picture, we took the picture, everybody turned around and laid over the gurney and stuff. It was crazy, but yeah, we have those pictures. Yes, I'll get them. I'll look around and I'll see if I can find them. I know they're there at the house.
I'm sure he'll
Just
appreciate
have
it.
to look. Yes, sir.
All right, I got 7 o'clock.
It is 7 o'clock. I would like to call the September 15th DeSoto City Council meeting to order. We'll start with roll call, please.
Murdoch,
Here.
Daniels,
Here.
Hannah Michael,
Here.
Lane,
Here.
Ritter,
Here.
Mr. Mayor, all is present.
Okay. I would invite you all to please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our first item of business tonight is a proclamation to recognize Constitution Week, which is coming up. Whereas our founding fathers, in order to secure the blessings of liberty for themselves and their posterity, did ordain and establish a Constitution for the United States of America, and whereas it is of the greatest importance that all citizens fully understand the provisions and principles contained in the Constitution in order to support, preserve, and defend it, and whereas the 235th anniversary of the signing of the Constitution provides a historic opportunity for all Americans to realize the achievements of the framers of the Constitution and the rights, privileges, and responsibilities it affords, and whereas the independence guaranteed to American citizens should be celebrated by appropriate ceremonies and activities during Constitution Week, September 17th through 23rd, 2022, as designated by proclamation of the President of the United States in accordance with Public Law 915. Now, therefore, I, Rick Walker, Mayor of the City of DeSoto in the state of Kansas, do hereby proclaim the week of September 17th through 23rd, 2022 as Constitution Week in the City of DeSoto. And I urge all citizens to reaffirm the ideals the framers of the Constitution had in 1787 by celebrating the freedoms guaranteed to us throughout the United States Constitution, or through the United States Constitution. All right? And we have made the presentation of the proclamation to the DAR. Thank you, ladies, for coming and bringing the proclamation to us.
Thank you.
All right, our next item is a public hearing for IRB tax abatement request by Alcove Development and DM Vet Properties. Any introduction of this, Brandon, or
Pat, I can take it, or Patrick,
We
if
just-
you want to, or
want to open the public hearing and then we'll take it up later?
I can give kind of
All right.
a brief introduction. So this is a public hearing for industrial revenue bonds tax incentives request from the DMV Vet Properties in Alcove on the 1.6 acre parcel of land along Lexington Avenue, just north of the Dollar General store. A cost benefit, per law, a cost benefit analysis and public hearing are required. The applicant is proposing to construct 2 mixed-use buildings. One will be used for the vet, along with housing units above. The estimated construction cost is $4 million. And with that, Mayor, I recommend you open the public hearing.
Okay. All right. Hearing that introduction, I will now officially open the public hearing. Does anyone wish to make comment regarding the IRB tax abatement request for Alcove Development and DM Vet Properties? Please come to the podium, state your name and address.
Yeah, I did want to just note, with the IRBs, there is a requested tax abatement, 75%.
Okay.
So,
Seeing no one, I will officially then close the public hearing, and we will take this item up in our regular agenda under item 4D. Our next item is our consent agenda.
Yeah, have a motion to move item E off of the consent agenda and discuss that after we approve the consent agenda, and then add under new business, item G, being the charter amendment
Okay.
sent out by Patrick.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second to amend the agenda to move item E to be considered after the consent agenda and to add item 4G to consider charter ordinance. Any discussion of the motion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right,
Motion carries.
unanimous. Okay, so now on the consent agenda, we have approval of minutes from the council meeting of September 1st, approval of pay ordinance number 934, approval of resolution 1084 allowing consumption of alcohol for city concert, approval of a temporary use permit for DeSoto Half Marathon, and temporary use permit for Downtown Fall Festival. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as amended?
I'll make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All right, we have a motion, a second, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Murdoch?
Yes.
Sorry?
Mayor, this is Kevin. You may not have it on the agenda.
That's what we're going to consider after the consent agenda.
I must have overlooked it, thank you.
Okay, roll call, please.
Murdoch,
Yes.
Daniels,
Yes.
Hanamichael,
Yes.
Lane,
Yes.
Ritter.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, now we will take up item 1E. Temporary use permit, I'm sorry, firework display permit for DeSoto VFW.
Yes, Mayor and Council. I requested that this item be pulled from the consent agenda just because I've been working with the VFW to get the required paperwork for the firework display. The permit is requesting a small display on October 1st at the VFW site for a wedding. And we've asked you to pull it just because the applicant has not submitted a valid state of Kansas pyrotechnic license. I've been working with the VFW to get that done. My understanding is we should receive that over the weekend, and I recommend that you approve the item conditionally pending submission of the license.
Okay, so we have a recommendation to approve pending receipt of the license. Any discussion from council? Would someone like? Sure.
Before, Brian, that application may be generic in form, but they're not fire department.
Yeah, we have representation from there. The way I understand the ordinance is it's not really intended for small fireworks shows. It does bar. Basically, you have to have the license in order to shoot off the fireworks, regardless of the type of fireworks, except in those periods around the 4th of July. And so that's why we're requiring the application and the license. Patrick, if you want to weigh in, and we have someone from the VFW.
Doug, did you want to add something?
I can. Thank you, Doug Bedford. I live at 32170 West 83rd here in DeSoto, and I'm a member of DeSoto VFW. Again, we've been working with Brandon. He's been very good in answering our questions. And again, the way that this started initially was, I believe, one of our members of the Post reached out to Council Member Ritter and said, hey, this is what we're looking at doing. What do we need to do? And then whenever Brandon got with me, he said, hey, we only got about 30 days to get this thing done. So that's, we've been a little expeditious in that regard. It's actually, it's not a wedding. What it is, it's a nonprofit org. It's called Hands to Heart. Hands to Heart, they do motorcycle runs, they do fundraisers, things like that, and then they get children's toys, and they actually go to Indian reservations in South Dakota, and then they present them for Christmas and things like that. So it's a really good organization. They do 2 runs a year, and this run in October is their 50th run, and that's why they're wanting to do it. And as Brandon mentioned, Councilmember Ritter also mentioned, it's going to be the typical stuff that, the I don't want to say sparklers, the fountains, the cakes, things like that, that the VFW sells, Jake sells, things like that. It's not going to be Royal Stadium, back. It's not a commercial parade in that regard. So I think it's supposed to, the run should get to the VFW, the motorcycle run, 9-ish. So they're anticipating the fireworks show lasting 5 to 10 minutes at the most. We do have one individual that's licensed in the state of Missouri. He actually owns a business, and he will be there. And then I was able to get another name of a gentleman. There's a girl, Keegan Cronin. Her husband, Brandon Wiggins, lives here in town. His family's been in the pyro business, and Brandon was able to give us the name of a gentleman who's licensed in the state of Kansas. So we do have one person. They're just not licensed here, and that was what Brandon was requesting.
Okay. Did you have comments to add?
Just the code does say a display for the public or any organized group, so.
Yeah.
So the permit would be.
Yeah. It's a little bit of overkill, but that's just the way the ordinance is written.
All right. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Sounds like everything's on track now.
Yeah, with what Mr. Deal, I emailed him yesterday or 2 days ago, and he said he would get us a copy of his license, said by the end of the week or the weekend. So as soon as I get that, again, I'm in communication with Brandon via email or phone call, and so we'll make that happen. And again, we've paid the,
Paid the fee, yeah.
we paid the fee, we just trying to get, all of our ducks in a row.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
I'll make a motion, then we approve the firework display permit for the VFW on October 1st, 2022, as long as we receive the appropriate license that we need.
Second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion of the motion? Roll call, please.
Lane?
Yes.
Daniels?
Yes.
Murdock?
Yes.
Hanamichael?
Yes.
Ritter?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right. Item 2 is call to public. Members of the public are welcome to use this time to comment about any matter relating to city business not listed on tonight's agenda. The comments that are discussed under call to public may or may not be acted on by the council during this meeting. Does anyone wish to address the council at call to public? All right, seeing none, we will move on. Item 3 is old business. We have none, so we'll go to item 4A. Consider task order, with PEC and for inspection services for the Edgerton Road project.
Yes, Mayor and Council. This is the task order for the inspection services for the reconstruction of Edgerton Road. Due to the timeline, we're hiring one of our on-call engineers, PEC, to provide those inspection services. The project will be funded by Flint via 3% inspection fee. We estimate that fee will be about $180,000. Any additional charges for overtime will be remitted by Flint to the city and then promptly remitted to PEC to cover those overages. The construction is expected to start early next week. As far as I know, we have not received the insurance bonds and a plan for a traffic detour. However, we expect to receive that either tomorrow or early next week. We'll receive that before the road closure begins, and that will run through September through mid-December.
Okay. Any questions? I think you answered mine, just to make sure that the inspection fee we would receive would be enough to cover it, and
Yes.
it will, or it will be expanded to cover the overtime and cover it, so.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't think I had any other
Okay,
questions.
any questions from anyone? Anyone online have questions? Mr. Hanamichael?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Ritter? Okay,
Brandon, they're looking at starting in September and hopefully being done by December.
Yeah, that's my understanding. Yes, that they're planning on being done. We're going to work on a communication plan. We'll start that either tomorrow or Monday. We're kind of waiting on the detour, just because we don't want to tell people it's going to close and then not have a plan for the detour yet. But as soon as we get that information, we're going to start a public information campaign explaining what's going on.
any other questions? Entertain a motion?
I'll make a motion, then we approve task order 22-05 from PEC and authorize the city administrator to sign it on behalf of the city.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ritter?
Yes.
Lane?
Yes.
Hanamichael?
Yes.
Daniels?
Yes.
Murdock?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, item 4B, consider task order with GBA for owners representative services for sewer expansion in the southwest growth areas.
This is, let me get there. Sorry, I'm doing two things at once here. Let me move on. So this is a task order for the expanded services with GBA regarding the sewer plant expansion and a pump station at the plant site. It's estimated that the fee is roughly $62,000. And the funding is coming from the CIP project to finance Southwest Growth infrastructure improvements. And then ultimately this project will be rolled into financing for the plant expansion. So I recommend approval of the task order.
Any questions regarding the task order for,
And this is the design of it?
Yes.
it's the design of it on a design build procurement process, all right? So it's not the full design, that would come from the designer, but it sets our parameters for the construction and
to go out for
Yeah,
for the
this
design
puts the
build.
spec package together to tell the contractor teams what they need to build.
Okay.
No, thanks for that clarification.
All right, any other questions? Would entertain a motion then. if we're-
I'll make a motion, we approve task order number 2 from GBA and authorize the city administrator to sign it on behalf of the city.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion of the motion? Roll call, please.
Ritter,
Yes.
Lane,
Yes,
Daniels,
Yes.
Hanamichael,
Yes.
Murdoch,
Yes.
motion carries.
All right. Item 4C, consider task order with GBA work related to the sewer treatment expansion project.
So this is another task order on a similar process. However, this is largely work to be performed with our regulators, with KDHE for the necessary studies for the sewer treatment plant expansion. The funding, the estimated amount is $50,000, and the funding is coming from that same project of $400,000. And will eventually be rolled into the financing of the treatment plant expansion.
Okay. Any questions from council?
I'll make a motion, we approve task order number 3 from GBA and authorize the city administrator to sign it on behalf of this city.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Murdoch,
Yes.
Daniels,
Yes.
Hanamichael,
Yes.
Ritter,
Yes.
Lane,
yes.
motion carries.
Okay, thank you, Charles. You can go to the Chiefs game now.
See you, Phil. Thanks, guys. Good night.
All right. Item 4D, consider resolution 1085 for IRBs and 75% tax abatement, sales tax exemption on construction materials and pilot agreement for benefit of Alcove Development and DDM properties.
Just council would mention, we do have bond counsel here, Kevin Wimpy, if you have any questions, but the resolution of intent does approve the pilot agreement. It is for 75% tax abatement, and it's related to the project that was the subject of the public hearing. And Dustin Baker with Alcove is here as well.
Okay. Any questions from council? It was 2 meetings ago, I think, or was it just the last meeting
Might
that
have been
we?
the last one. We've gone
I
on
mean,
quite a bit of time, too.
we talked about this, so,
It's pretty exciting, I think.
yeah,
So,
great.
I'm glad to see it worked out. Dr. Fair's been very active in the community, and it's a good thing.
Any questions from the gentleman online, Mr. Hanamichael? Okay, Kevin Ritter?
I'm good, sir.
Okay,
I'll make a motion, then we adopt resolution 1085 as written.
Second?
we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Hanamichael,
Yes.
Ritter,
Yes.
Lane,
Yes.
Daniels,
Yes.
Murdoch,
Yes.
motion carries.
All right. Item 4E, consider final plat for carriage houses.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. What you have before you is the 11th building at the carriage houses. This development started in 2005, and they're now at their 11th building. They plan another 5 to go before they fill out the site, so this will be back. So this is kind of old school for all of us at this point, but after they plat the property, they can get a building permit. Once the walls and the interior walls are up, they do an exact survey of each space, and then they have to replat the property in order to sell those individual tracts. We did bring this to the planning commission, went through a the normal process, did staff review of the final plat, and the planning commission accepted the final plat, but it does go to the council for acceptance for easements and rights of way. I understand, great question.
All right. Any questions for Brad on the final plat of Carriage House, number 11? All right, someone want to make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion, we accept the easements and right-of-way for the Carriage House final plat, number 11.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Lane,
Yes.
Ritter,
Yes.
Hanamichael,
Yes.
Daniels,
Yes.
Murdoch,
Yes.
motion carries.
Mayor votes as well.
Oh, Mayor Walker, sorry. Excuse
That's
me,
all right.
Mayor.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. Item 4F, consider real estate sale agreement with Alcove Development for cleanup, demolition, and redevelopment of the former city water plant and street maintenance shop.
Yes, council, I prepared this agreement. Dustin Baker has reviewed it. He is good with it. This came, I know Brandon and Mike Brungart have had some meetings with Dustin, I believe, about this property. I did send you some information this afternoon. The city did have an appraisal done on the property and also an environmental study. It does look like there's definitely going to have to be some environmental work on the property. Essentially, if I understand, we're going to have to come to agreement with Alcove on a development agreement that will address more specifics about what's going to be done with the property. And that will be worked through. I know Dustin needs to do his due diligence to get his arms around what all needs to be done. So you will have this back before you as far as what happens with the property as far as cleanup and development. So Dustin, I don't know if you need to add anything else, but it's essentially a transfer of the property in return for cleanup and removal of the buildings and infrastructure from the old water plant, and then development of the property.
Okay.
So basically, this is an agreement that they will purchase it if they decide to go through with it, and that he has a time frame to go through and figure everything out.
Yep.
And then they will get the piece of property, do whatever cleanup needs to be done, and come back with an agreement as far as what's going to happen on the property.
Exactly.
Sounds good. Glad to get rid of toxic property.
Yeah, we'll have to work with KDHE.
Yeah.
There's been a phase 1 and phase 2 down.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's a lot of work that has to be done.
Yeah. And you realize that, and
We
know what
we're
you're getting
fully
yourself
aware.
into.
I'm excited about
Dustin,
the
can I?
project for the community.
Would you mind, yeah, Dustin?
Yeah, sorry, just because we have people
Sorry.
online,
Yeah.
council members online,
Yeah.
might not be able to hear you.
Sure. Dustin Baker, Alcove Development. Yeah, I mean, this kind of goes along with my my want and desire to clean up different properties in DeSoto that I've grown up with all my life. So yes, I'm fully aware there's been a phase 1 and phase 2. We have to work with KDHE to clean that up. If this agreement is put in place tonight, that's our next step, is to contact KDHE and go through the steps to work with them on what we need to do to clean it up. And then obviously there's a lot of demo work that will need to be done as well. But we're really wanting to utilize the property for a residential community. Don't hold me to this, but I'm thinking tuck under garage, because of the topography, you go down and then we probably would have tuck under garages with a horseshoe type of arrangement row houses all the way around that could have a view over the river. So
Nice.
that's kind of the intent.
Okay.
All right.
So in simple terms, the cleanup to the city is basically gonna make the property value a wash, so.
I think,
we're-
yeah.
So that we're letting them do the cleanup and.
The demo and the cleanup is, yeah,
Yeah.
equal to the, Dustin's
more.
counting that as equal
Or
to the
more,
value of the
right.
property,
Yeah.
right? That is,
Right.
So,
well, it is, because that's what you're getting the property.
like I said,
Exactly.
kind of putting it in the simple
Yeah.
terms of,
Yeah.
if we do it, we're spending that much or more, so it's easier to just let them have it and take care of it and turn it into something.
Yeah, and as Patrick said, we'll, following the due diligence
Yeah.
process, then we'll develop the formal transfer and get an idea of then, we will see what Dustin's planning for the property and.
Yeah, we're fully aware that, if we take this on, that we need to have a development agreement agreed to upon everybody and a site plan and what we're gonna do with the property.
Yeah.
Agreed to by everybody.
Okay.
Yep.
So just let me know if you guys want anything in that agreement.
All right, thank you.
Will.
Thank you, Dustin. Any other questions from council?
Yeah, Mayor, I got a question.
Certainly.
You know, Councilman, I've been talking about this for quite a while, and that process we could talk a little bit about So, is there that I'm sitting at to the table you guys recognize that the answer is expensive, but markets already represent some value is conveyed in this process.
Do you mean from like a tax standpoint or?
Exactly. Is the tax on. And so is that something else?
I'm not sure, Dustin, I don't know if you want to address that. Definitely really isn't a concern for the city, but it may be for.
I haven't been privy to the appraisal, so I'd like to know what the appraisal took into consideration in the $200,000 value. Did it take into consideration it being cleaned up? And if it was cleaned up, would it be worth 200? Because that goes into play.
It did not consider the degradation of the property from the environmental concerns, anything like that.
Right.
Would there be an element, would that be
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. We have obligation to provide the environmental studies and, yeah, the appraisal. We're happy to provide it to you.
Whatever my accountant comes up with, obviously I have to abide by, but I would think that, yes, it's, the appraisal usually, there's usually a list of assumptions, and I would assume that the assumptions are that they weren't privy to a phase 1 or a phase 2 environmental study. Usually they state that in the appraisal, almost always, that they have no knowledge of any environmental issues going on with the property, so they make no assumptions. And then it would depend on what they assumed as far as was the site stripped. But yes, I would love to see that part of the due diligence, but we're still interested in this.
Yeah, I think Councilman Brenner was pulling out the memory and everything.
I'm doing that right now, so.
Yes. Anything else? Are we good to move forward?
I'll make a motion. We authorize the mayor to enter into the real estate purchase contract with Alcove Development.
Second.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Murdoch,
Yes.
Daniels,
Yes.
Ritter,
Yes.
Hanamichael,
Yes.
Lane,
Yes.
motion carries.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dustin.
Hey,
Item 4G, consider charter ordinance.
Oh, sorry. I just wondered if you could address the storage facility here in a moment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You want to stick around?
You don't mind.
Okay, sure.
Are you going to introduce this, Patrick?
Yes, I emailed to the council in the preparation for the general obligation bond issue for the sewer plant improvements. Working with Kevin Wimpy, we realized that we had some limitations on GO financing. So this charter ordinance charters the city out of these two statutes and essentially would allow, there would not be any limitation as long as the project was in the CIP and had been approved by the governing body. This does apply for the general obligation financing. So again, Kevin Wimpy is here if you have any specific questions for him, but this will allow us to pretty much stay on schedule for that bond issuance. And it is charter number 28. The mayor does vote on charter ordinances.
All right. Questions?
I'll make a motion, we approve Charter Ordinance 28, debt limits on public projects.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion of the motion? Roll call, please.
Murdoch,
Yes.
Daniels,
Yes.
Hanamichael,
Yes.
Ritter,
Yeah.
Lane,
Yes.
Mayor Walker,
Yes.
motion carries.
Okay.
Someone's echoing.
Oh,
Driving me nuts.
See you, Kevin.
okay. Item 5 is executive session. We do not have one, so we'll go to item 6, advisory reports. City administrator / assistant city administrator. Brandon?
The only thing I have tonight is that we have a summer concert tomorrow. I think Whitney had emailed you guys all on Wednesday, I believe. It's Platinum Express, and they play songs from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. It's at Riverfest Park, and it's supposed to be not too hot of a night, so it should be a good night. So.
Okay. Beautiful night. City attorney.
So, sorry to keep you, Dustin.
No,
I
you're
just wanted to update the council on the storage unit off of Lexington.
You go to the mic again.
Sure.
So you'll recall that work was supposed to commence on that building to make the repairs. So in the last several weeks, we had heard that Alcove was talking to the longtime owner of that facility to purchase it. And I believe part of Alcove's plan is to tear the building down. So we didn't think it made sense for them to, you know, make a bunch of repairs to the building if it's going to be torn down. So given the change in owner, we would have to start the process over anyway. So I just wanted to bring everybody up to speed. And I don't know, Dustin, if you want to share what your plans are for the building.
Yeah, so right now, just full disclosure, we have signed the contract, we sent it to the owner via overnight mail. I think think it was on Friday. Word is he signed it, but he did not overnight it back. He snail mailed it back, so we're waiting on the executed version of the contract. But our plan for the property is as soon as we close on the property, we will demolish the structure that's there. We'll submit a site plan. Not sure yet. We're kind of discussing amongst myself and Roger Johnson on what exactly we'll do with it.
Let me throw an idea out there for you.
We've talked about
Food truck
residential.
court.
Ah, okay.
That wasn't on your list.
We've talked about residential. We've also talked about maybe some office / warehouse space, you know, with a little bit of storage area for a business contractor to go in there, but also have an office and some restrooms. So we're kind of kicking around both, but bottom line is that structure will not, if we are a part of the project, the structure will be the first thing to go down as soon as we get it.
Thank you.
And floodplain isn't an issue with that? Floodplain isn't an issue? It's not in a floodplain?
Floodplain,
I mean, or is there?
no, we'll probably have to build it up a little bit, but we have access to dirt.
It's not in the floodway.
No. We've done that quite a bit, so we're pretty familiar with the process. And most of that, I think, from past experience in '93, we mostly flooded the golf course.
Are you getting the property next to it too?
We tried, but they'd already sold it.
Oh, it's been sold.
We really
The
wanted
second
that
time.
too. And that's why we initially offered him a price, and then we were trying to negotiate and get the property next to it, but we weren't.
Okay, thank you.
We'll see. Okay.
Thanks, Dustin.
All right, thanks, guys.
Is that it?
That's it.
All right.
Okay.
City planner?
Nothing to add tonight,
All
Mayor,
right.
thank you.
Brandon, you've already had your turn, so I'm not gonna give you two.
Fair.
Council comments, I'm gonna start tonight. We have the appointment of our city engineer. And so I would like council consent to appoint Chet Belcher as the city engineer of DeSoto. Someone would like to make that motion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Murdoch.
Yes.
Ritter.
Yes.
Daniels.
Yes.
Lane.
Yes.
Carmichael.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right.
I was just gonna mention, don't we have to fire our old?
I believe we have the new city engineer in the building. If you'd like to come up and address the council at all, put him on the spot.
Yeah, invite you to the mic.
First, I appreciate the opportunity to serve the city. Really looking forward to this exciting time to watch the city grow with the electric vehicle plan. So keep my brief comments short. I know the chief's plan. So, but again, I really appreciate the opportunity to serve the city. So.
Thank you. Lori, anything for the group tonight?
Well, I have a question for the new city engineer. Oh, we
Okay.
have one. It was gonna go to Brad, but actually it's for anyone. It's more of a comment than a question. So with the road work and the bridge being done, is there not a way they can change the stoplight so that it's not red for three people while
eliminate
we're
the
waiting
phase
for
that
that?
isn't active and,
Or is it just a big deal to do that? I mean, it's not, you know, I can be patient and sit there, but it's just, you know,
A
you
wasted
sit there when
phase.
3 people are sitting there, you're like, okay, somebody should be going.
Yeah.
So that was my only question.
I don't, it's a question I've had and I have asked. I didn't get an answer. I don't think I asked the right people or at the right time.
Maybe.
Well, I can go back and talk to the installer and see if there's an adjustment that can be made, but we've been out there a few times. When we first put it in, people weren't used to it, it backed up really bad, so we made.
We're talking, this is about
No,
Commerce
no.
Drive.
I'm talking
Commerce
about-
where the ramp to enter, the
that.
westbound entrance ramp is
Right.
closed, but that phase, actually
still
it's the
in it.
exit phase is still
yeah,
active.
yeah.
It's the westbound off, the westbound off ramp
Yeah, when you come.
phase is active still, so nothing happens during that phase because there's no traffic on that leg.
Yeah, Mayor, it's a large council meeting, and I asked Mike that request.
Yeah. Right, so maybe we could follow up again with Teague or whoever does our signal stuff and see if we can easily eliminate a phase till November 18th when they open the ramp back up. To save everybody 45 seconds
I was
out
gonna
of
say,
every
it's
signal
really,
cycle.
it's the only time I've even gone through there in all the whole whiles. It's like,
Hopefully by November. Yeah. Right.
oh gosh, none too soon.
Anything else?
Nope, that'll be it. Thank you,
All
Mayor.
right, thank you. Rob?
Nothing tonight.
Danny?
Nothing, sir.
Kevin Hunemichael, anything for the group tonight?
Hi, just a couple of comments I'd like to throw out. Three actually. First, shout out to you, Mayor, and Scott. Taking out their coordinating, coordinating investors. Publicity in the city and did a great job, so, shout out.
Thank you.
Second, Kansas is the council is very Kansas. Projects and coming up is once the topic the way that design projects should be structured almost to be the most potentialist, probably the most cost effective because it's a amount of risk that has to be priced into the job. Just to be design build and project. And that would be and finally,
All right, thank you. Kevin Ritter, anything for the group tonight?
well, I'd like to, just,
Okay. All right, very good. One last item, go Chiefs.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, we're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
How you doing, buddy?
Thank you. We got Jeff transferred over.
Oh, did you? Well, good. Thank you.
He's gonna.
Welcome aboard. We're glad to have you.
First day of the 18th.
Thank you, man.